Question is
Hello,
the
everyone! Welcome back to Misty Mountain Streaming. I'm the D&D My name is Rob, and we are back with Cthulhu! It has been far too long, and people are very excited in the chat. Hello, everyone! Welcome back. TL Holdren already getting us started off. TL Holdren's been saying in the Discord how he was excited for this to begin again. Gave out 5 community subs. We hadn't even started the stream. Thank you, buddy. Hello. What's up? Thank you guys for being here. If you are new around here, we are Misty Mountain Streaming. We are kind of the entertainment branch of Misty Mountain Gaming, a dice and tabletop brand. I work there. The rest of these people just like us or like me or like you and have come around for one reason or another. And just to clear this up before anybody starts asking questions, I have red lights on me. I am not trying to match Katie's shade of lipstick. It's just very, very similar all of a sudden. This is Miskatonic Misadventure. This is going to be our second Cthulhu stream on the channel. You will recognize some of the faces from our last one, which was Excelsior. That was a really good time. All of the episodes are on YouTube. I highly encourage you to go check that out at Misty Mountain Gaming TV. This is going to have a little bit to do with that, but it's going to be set in the future with some different characters, because not every character made it out of that situation so well, as it happens. Let's go around and let me not be the only one talking here, and let the players introduce themselves, and we'll talk a little bit more about what to expect out of this campaign, and what is different from those that we have run before. And we're just going to go across the top of the screen to returning player, Katie. Hey, Katie, welcome back.
Hello. Great to be back, Rob. Thank you again for having me for the second part of Call of Cthulhu and or Pulp Cthulhu. Hello. I'm on Twitch as Ominous Watermelon. I also do the streaming thing, but my regular name is Katie, and feel free to call me that. I am a D&D character digital artist. I also play a lot of horror games, and I've been playing tabletop video games for over half of my life since I was in high school, so I have a little bit of experience. And am I introducing my character yet?
Not yet.
Okay. I'm playing a character who is yet to be introduced.
But whose name is on the screen, spoiling the surprise for everyone. Thank you, Katie. Excited to have you again. You are reprising the tentacle top, I see.
Obviously.
Yeah. If they made one in my size one of these weeks, I would join you, maybe.
Maybe we should all show up in them one time.
Let's move on into the corner to Mike.
Hello, guys. I am Mike, or Uncle Mike, or occasionally Diggy. I am very pleased to be back and playing this game that I love very much. I have been playing these sorts of games since D&D 2nd edition came out, and every D&D version since, and Pathfinder, and Earth Dawn, and Champions, and pretty much anything you can think of. This game is near and dear to my heart, though, and my normal gaming group has no interest in its lethality and insanity, and so I get to come here and enjoy what I love so much. I have a little YouTube channel if you ever want to swing by. I just post stuff about Pathfinder for my own players, but we do a lot of homebrew, and it gets a lot of attention sometimes, so feel free to join us. And I also will not introduce my character.
Just following along with the trend, I see. Thank you.
I do whatever Katie does.
So, in the last campaign, that would have been very inadvisable.
Yeah, right.
I recommend you break that streak as soon as possible. And we will move on to the bottom corner to a new face to Cthulhu and practically a new face to the channel. Welcome, Brian.
How's it going? Thank you. My name's Brian. I have been playing TTRPGs since 1981. My first D&D was the original Red Box, for those of you who remember it. I've loved everything about Cthulhu, but I've never actually played the game. I've been reading source books on it for years and years and years, and it's something I've always wanted to do. But kind of like Mike, my groups that I've been involved with just never really had a whole lot of interest in it. As far as streaming, this is going to be other than a couple of small things, this is going to be my third stream. The first two, I was a DM for a 5e stream called Winds of Weird, which I'm also developing a group of TTRPG supplements for, which is a world I've been developing for a while and kind of playing around with. But I'm really excited about this because, like I said, I've always wanted to play Cthulhu. Anything with tentacles just gets me drooling. And and so here we are.
You're getting compliments on the shirt too, Brian.
I was about to say, you got the apparel down.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
We got to get you guys some tentacle apparel.
I've got tentacles over my shoulders.
You do, and I tried to dress somewhat like preppy college student that once upon a time I was, just to try and fit the theme, but apparently tentacleless, so not as good. Could the kind people in the chat, as we continue chatting, do me the kindness of letting us know how we're looking and sounding? I've got a little bit of the looking over here, but it's hard for me to tell how we sound outside of my own ears. So if anyone's volume needs to come up or down, or if the music needs to go down or up, now is a great time to tell me before we get too deep into this. I see Eric's affidavit in there. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Good to start out on a good note. T.L. Holdren says, I have Cthulhu tattooed on my arm. So I've got that.
Nice.
There's probably cosmic repercussions for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is Cthulhu. And if you know much about this channel and its history, typically we've done the Dungeons and Dragons thing. And this is going to be quite different from Dungeons and Dragons because in Cthulhu, you are typically weaker, more likely to die. It is less combat-centric. You are more likely to go insane, and that be the end of your character, than meeting a grisly end, although that is definitely still on the table. And that was the kind of campaign that we played last time. This time, we are playing Pulp Cthulhu, which is going to be a little bit different than the last game in a couple of ways. First of all, you are not likely to die by electrocution in one go. If you go toying around with a fuse box in the basement of a hotel, you have more hit points than that, and it will probably go a little bit better for you in this campaign. Not talking to anyone in particular. You have a few more hit points.
I'm curious about this story now.
You have feats, but they're basically feats. They're called talents in this game, where you get to be a little bit more capable and break the rules and bend the rules in special ways. You also get a lot more skill points. You start as a much more upgraded character in Pulp Cthulhu than you do in regular Cthulhu. So I am encouraged as the Keeper to make things harder and more difficult, and expect greater things from them and present them with greater challenges, because these are not your father's investigators. Let's see. Just checking out the chat, make sure everyone is following along. I noticed, by the way, that Femto... Hello, Femto, by the way. Welcome back. Long time no see. And Dabs have gone ahead and purchased bonus dice for everyone in the game at the moment. I am going to be changing the way that these work going into this campaign, and actually I was going to have them switched off for the night. They're switched off now, but you already spent the channel point, so I'm letting it stand, so everyone gets to start with a bonus die. So congratulations, spend it wisely. I'll try and give you an excuse to use it quite quickly.
Excellent. For breaking the rules there, whoever did that.
Just jumped right on it and went ahead and got it started. Also, if you are used to Dungeons & Dragons, we are going to be rolling a little bit differently. Instead of rolling a d20 to decide the outcome of everything, we're going to be rolling percentile dice. We're going to be rolling a d100 and a d10 to find out if we succeed or fail. We're going to be comparing it to completely arbitrary numbers that the players have selected for themselves at character creation, and they're different from one another. And we're hoping to roll low and not high. So if you hear someone being really excited about rolling a 2, that's why. Oh, hey, Biscuit, how's it going? Icy's here! I know Icy. Mythical Mania is here. Just saying hi to people. Mirtha Frogs is here, coming over to see Katie. Vanillius is here. Dabs, of course. Yeah. Oh, man, it's good to be back with you guys. I've missed everybody. And I may be a little slower on the technical side of things, by the way, because I don't have my stream deck set up at the moment. But maybe we'll get by anyway. Also, I'm drinking Bib and Tucker this evening. I'm only mentioning that to everyone because it was a gift from somebody on screen. Thank you, Mike. Good way to start off the stream.
Merry Christmas.
Final thing I will say before we actually start Cthulhuing is that this is going to be a horror game. That means that we are going to be touching on unpleasant topics. We are going to be intentionally trying to make people uncomfortable, specifically the players on the screen, but it might bleed over into the people in the audience. So this is your warning that this is an 18+ stream, that you are asked and invited to enjoy at your own discretion. Any announcements, things to say, pleas for help from the players before we begin?
Nothing I can think of.
I just
Good
want to
to go.
clarify that
I know what this is. I know
touching
totally
that
what
breaker
this is.
box at the time
Hey, Eric.
seemed like a good idea.
Oh, it was a good idea if you had done it correctly.
Nobody told me to not do it. Therefore,
They just waited
I
with bated
noticed,
breath.
I noticed your character is much better at that this time.
yeah. I may have lived and learned. Maybe. Haha. If it was the same person. Haha.
It is nearly a decade after the Excelsior incident that took place in Chicago. For all but those who were directly affected by it, it now seems a relatively distant memory. The world has changed. The world has moved on. Prohibition has ended. The war is farther in the rear view. People are beginning to hope that things might be taking a turn for the better. This includes the people in Arkham, Massachusetts. Massachusetts, a place with a sordid history, as the Americas go, a history of the occult, a history of witchcraft, and one of the oldest and first settled areas of the New World. In Arkham sits Miskatonic University, really the town's claim to fame. On par with Princeton, Harvard, Yale, Miskatonic is a prestigious academic institution that attracts people from all over the globe to study history, archaeology, other subjects as well, though really those two do stand out, as Miskatonic is home to one of the greatest libraries of antiquities and rare texts in America. It so happens that here, in the early summer, at the end of another successful semester for the college, that a party has been thrown, a retirement party, for the Orne Library's head librarian, Henry Armitage. Various people from academia, Arkham socialites, alumni, all came to attend, to pay homage, to socialize, have a drink, enjoy the company of like-minded individuals and social equals, and sometimes betters. That, however, is not where our story begins. I would like all of you to roll your constitution for me.
Starting with a con roll.
I'm good with 33.
33, okay. Is that... So in Cthulhu, by the way, for anyone new to the game or joining us, there are levels of success, indicated by different numbers on the character sheet. So you have a regular success, a hard success, and an extreme success. How would this success rate for you, Brian?
This would be a hard success.
Hard success. Good to know. How
I
about...
also got a hard success.
Hard success as well, okay.
Rolled a 12,
Ooh.
which would go into the extreme success category.
The extreme success category. So, Hannah, we get to start with you. Sorry, my screen is turning black for no reason over here, and it is doing me a concern. Just, stream hasn't stopped for anybody? We can carry on?
Looks
Stream
fine.
still seems to be streaming.
Looking
Okay.
good.
There we go. Just break the immersion right there for a second because of technical
Yep.
things.
You need us to vamp, we will.
Hannah, you wake up. The odd part about that is you don't really remember going to sleep. You open your eyes with some difficulty. You are not wide awake. You feel groggy. You try to remember if you had been drinking or what you might have had to eat before now, but it's not coming back to you. Things are hazy. But you do open your eyes and see nothing. Well, not nothing per se. There is light. It's ahead of you, and you seem to be viewing it through something quite close to you, quite close to your face, almost some sort of fabric. You make a gesture to push whatever this is away, to take stock of your surroundings, and find that your arm does not move. No, that's not quite true. Your arm does move, just not very far. There's a sound of shifting metal and a rattling as you make the attempt, and the motion is stopped short by something wrapped around your wrist. This is the peculiar situation that you inexplicably find yourself in. You do seem to be seated, it's worth saying.
Okay. Yikes. Okay. Are my hands like tied behind my back?
They seem to be down at your sides.
Oh, like on chair handles, maybe?
Hard to say.
Attached handles, you know what I'm saying? Arms of a chair.
It may be. You feel the arms of a chair beneath your forearms. You rest back and you do feel the back of a chair, not all the way up to your shoulders. Maybe a short chair of some kind.
Okay. I'm gonna focus on other senses. Can I smell or hear anything strange?
Why don't you make a listen check for me?
Okay.
As you sniff about, you smell smoke very faintly. Not as if you're in the room with a fireplace, but maybe a candle. How'd the listening go?
I rolled a 37, which is going to be a regular success for me.
A regular success. You hear you are not alone. You hear breathing. At least multiple sources. You also hear the rattling of more chains Metal scraping on metal and against wood. Something is moving to your right and left.
Okay. I'm gonna try to speak. I assume there's not like anything covering my mouth other than the face covering.
There is not. The only thing you notice is that your voice cracks and croaks just a little bit, as though it's been a while since you've had anything to drink. But you say what you want to say.
Okay. I'm gonna clear my throat a little bit and just say, who else is here? Who's next to me?
Gentlemen. A voice wakes you. You don't remember going to sleep, but a voice nearby asks, who else is here? Who's next to me? And as you stir, you find yourself in a very similar situation to the one that I just described.
So tied something over my eyes so it's dark. I feel like I have clothes on.
Checking this most basic of things. Yes.
Yeah, I think
No,
you tell me if
that is a very fair question, and yes, you feel like you have clothes on. In fact,
shoes on.
You do have shoes on. In fact, as you move your feet, actually, to make this investigation, kind of tap your foot, you hear a slight splash.
Oh, super. Okay. I say, this is Agent Travis Cole. Whatever trick you kids are playing, you're gonna get in all kinds of trouble.
Travis?
Yes?
It's Hannah.
Hannah?
Yeah.
Hannah who?
We've met a few times.
Do I have any memory of the voice to put two and two together? I mean, Mike knows who he's talking to, but I'm not sure Travis does.
Let's call that
psychology.
I would give you psychology or listen with a bonus die.
Okay, I'll go for listen. And Katie, don't forget to check your successful listen attempt.
Yes. Oh, right.
I'll try to listen, and I failed by a little.
Okay, now you have luck if you wish to turn that into a success. However, if you use luck, you cannot.
I don't have a lot of luck. I am probably the least lucky of this bunch. So I'm gonna sit on the luck I got.
That's fair enough. You do not recognize the voice. Brad, you recognize neither of these voices terribly well.
Do I feel hungover? This isn't the first time I woke up without knowing where I'm at.
I would say there are distinct similarities. But, again, you don't... you're welcome to correct me if I'm wrong. You don't remember really going on a bender. And, maybe that's sometimes the mark of going on a good bender. But...
I'm going to test whatever's holding my hand.
Okay.
Like test the chain or handcuffs or whatever it is.
Is this the first time Brad has been handcuffed?
I think I'll plead the fifth on that.
Okay.
But it's the first time it's happened lately.
All right. This is a somewhat familiar feeling.
So I'm going to yank on it a little bit harder and see if I'm attached to like a bed frame that moves.
Okay. Go ahead. Are you trying to really haul on this thing?
If it feels like it's going to move, then I want to try to yank it hard enough to break.
Okay. There is the potential that you might hurt yourself doing this. Is that all right?
I'm willing to take that risk.
Okay. Go ahead and roll. Yeah, let's just call this strength here. To the other two of you who are conversing, you hear something violent happening within just a few feet of you.
And that's going to be a failure.
A failure? Okay.
Yeah.
What was the number, if I could ask?
It was 80. My strength is 65.
Okay.
You might want to discuss pushing. I don't mean to interrupt you, but just...
No, that is a good point, and thank you for the reminder. One of the best things about Cthulhu, as opposed to D&D, is that failure is not necessarily how the story goes. If you roll something and you don't like that roll, then you are welcome to spend luck to convert a failure into a success. You're also welcome to just try again and express to me as the keeper what extra lengths you have gone to try and push yourself or the situation into another attempt. Usually it comes with heightened consequences that I, as the keeper, am obliged to let you know ahead of time so you can decide whether or not it's a risk you are willing to take. So,
Okay.
for the time being, you are failing to pull on this and break whatever you are attached to.
I'm going to
but you haven't...
Try to... Go ahead.
But you haven't hurt yourself. If you want to push yourself and try again, you will probably hurt yourself. In fact, I will go so far as to say you will definitely hurt yourself. And if you critically fail, you will hurt yourself badly.
I'm going to growl, put my foot against whatever it is that is holding my leg, and I'm going to try to add an extra bit of oomph into yanking on this chain.
All right.
Ah! I always drop
Got a runner.
And that is a 21, so that would be a hard success.
A hard success. All right.
Excellent.
So as this happens, you kind of give it a sharp tug, and you hear a little bit of a creak as you do. Just enough encouragement to know, no, I've got this. And you haul up with your arm. Brad is a strong individual, and you hear the splintering of wood, everyone in the room, as outside of this, Brad has ripped a set of handcuffs through the wooden arm of a chair. And it smarts, man. It hurts, and you're going to feel that in the morning, but you do not take damage. And your right arm is free.
And I'm going to rip whatever is covering my face off and look around.
All right. So, Brad, as the first character that can see, you are attired as you were for Henry Armitage's party. Can you describe, for the benefit of the players and the audience, who is sitting in that chair pulling a burlap sack off of his head?
Brad is about medium-sized, somewhat athletically built. He looks like maybe he once was handsome, but he's been through quite a few too many boxing matches, and his nose looks like it's been mashed several times. He's got a large scar over his right eyebrow, and he just looks generally weathered. His clothes, if he's wearing the same clothes as he was before, are somewhat travel worn. At first glance, you might take him for a drifter.
Excellent. There is a table in front of you, Brad. On that table is a single candle. It has nearly burned out. In fact, you're not quite sure how long before the puddle of wax the wick is sitting in is going to extinguish the flame. But by its light, you take stock of the fact that both of your hands were, and one still is, handcuffed to the arm of a wooden chair. It looks fairly utilitarian, this chair, and moderately familiar in an odd way. But certainly old and breakable when properly persuaded. The table seems to be of the same make, almost matching the furniture that you just damaged. And it is not the only chair at that table. There are 3 others. One directly across from you, one to the right and left. Sat across from you is, well, someone. Their face covered by a burlap sack, same of yours, as are the figures to the right and left. They seem to still be handcuffed to identical chairs to your own. And you can barely make out that your leg, your left leg to be specific, is manacled and chained beneath the table to what you're not precisely sure. Your estimation is that these other 3 figures are in the same situation. The figure across from you and the figure to your right are fidgeting in their chairs. The figure to the left is not. Mr. Cole, how is the figure across from Brad dressed? Oh, you are muted, sir.
Oh, you got your... Yeah, I got no sound.
Thanks, guys. Sorry. I have to say the first thing that you would notice, and I don't mean to break the immersion too much, but I'll let the chat know that the way Rob has us create these characters is we roll our statistics and just apply them in order. So you don't really know who you're going to be until you've rolled it up. Well, I rolled the extreme on size for my character. So the first thing you have to notice is the guy across from you is the size of an NBA forward. He's an NFL tight end. He's Rob Gronkowski. He's like 6'6". He's, if he was standing up. The chair doesn't hold him well.
His knees are almost visible above the table.
He is otherwise wearing a nondescript black suit. It seems crisp, but a little worn. Black shoes, lace-up shoes, and with the hood over him, you can't tell much more than he appears to be, healthy. I don't think you could tell much more than that.
And Hannah, the figure unbeknownst to Brad to his right, how does Hannah dress for a party?
Hannah is dressed a bit smartly, almost like someone who works in an office or a secretary. Pretty well-pressed white button-up collared shirt with a suit jacket over the top of it with, kind of the pointed shoulder bits on the top. A well-fitting pencil skirt going down to just under the knees, stockings, 1/4-inch heels. Definitely looks like she just walked out of some kind of business meeting.
What kind of shoes is she wearing?
Just like black leather with a very small heel on the end of it. Pointed tips on the toes.
Weirdly, I was wondering the toe situation. And this does not make me sound good on camera, but it will become important shortly.
Hey, man. Whatever you're into, it's your business. This is an 18+ stream.
And Brad, the still figure to the left, is dressed in an overcoat. An overcoat that seems distinctly too big for them. Judging by the way it is filled out, you would say that it is a woman, and likely a young one, judging by the frame, wearing a grown man's coat. The burlap sack covers any other distinguishing features, and there's no other apparel visible from your seat. At this stage, you are all captain of whatever you choose to do. I'm curious to see what happens.
I'm going to start working on the other handcuff, and as I do, I look around. Who the hell are you people?
I think I
What, Katie? You cut out.
think I asked first. I've been trying to wriggle my way out. I'm trying to, I've got kind of slender hands and wrists. I'm seeing if I can get out from the chains. If not that, I'm seeing if the chair rocks hard enough for me to knock it over and break it while I'm in it. I'm not relying on whoever just, strongman pulled chains out of a wooden chair to come over here and release me.
Do I think I could stand up? Are my legs, even if it was in sort of a hunched forward position, do I think I could get on my feet and get the chair off the ground?
You attempt to do so, and you do. You don't stand very far up. The chair kind of restricts your movement in that way, but you are supported only by your own feet now. And that is when you notice two things. Firstly, that your leg, specifically your left leg, seems to be manacled in some way. And second, that water is beginning to fill your shoe. And it wasn't a moment ago.
Well, if Brian, if you're looking at my character, you notice he's really favoring his left leg. His right leg is not good for anything.
Yeah, but I'm not looking at his legs. I'm looking up and seeing just how big he is and feeling a little bit threatened. And I'm going to start yanking that much harder on my chains. I want to make sure my hands are free in case this guy decides to become aggressive.
I say, to answer your question, I'm Agent Travis Cole. And if you're responsible for this, well, you better get out of here. You're under arrest. And I jump up in the air with the intention of coming down hard and shattering the chair. Using my body weight.
That makes decent sense to me.
I figure something will break.
Yeah, so I think something will.
Hopefully it's not Travis.
So you are...
I mean, if I can slam it into a wall or whatever, but I can't see. So if I don't find anything solid, then the floor is what I'm going to find that is solid.
I
don't want to hit Hannah, who seems to think she knows me.
So, a couple of things will happen. First of all, Hannah, I would like you to go ahead and roll your dexterity. You will need a hard success to wriggle out of handcuffs. For Miss Cole, you stand and you jump. And Travis, you and Brad notice something at about the same time. Travis, you didn't jump as high as you thought you would, even handcuffed to a chair.
And not really all that agile to begin with.
It's because that chain stops you. Brad, your left leg gets a sharp tug as you watch Travis try and pull this stunt. As the chain that is attached to you is reeled in as he makes this action. However, Travis, if you would like to, I kind of think of this more of as like a brawl sort of thing. Like, we're just trying to break furniture at this point.
Okay with that. I'm not great at it, but I'm okay with it. I'm not bad at it either. Because
you're so big, I'll just make this a normal success. Speaking of successes, how did it go, Hannah?
A dexterity check is going to be almost impossible for me to fail. But I have managed to do so by rolling a 97.
Wow.
When I would have only needed a 90 or below.
So
I failed that, unfortunately.
So let's chat quickly. you have a bonus die afforded you by the chat, and you don't already have a bonus die on the roll, so if you want to do that, even though you can have multiple bonus dice now that it's occurring to me, you could apply the bonus die and try again. You could spend a little bit of luck and just luck your way into a success. Although, no, you needed a hard success, so that would actually be a very expensive bit of luck.
Yeah, you could do it, but you... Yeah.
Or you could push yourself. And if you chose to push yourself, you might dislocate something trying to slip that out. And until you received some medical attention from yourself or someone in the room or someone nearby, that hand would be useless to you.
This feels quite important, so let me throw that bonus die on there.
All right, I'm going to take that away.
Remind me what the bonus die I rolled. I re-rolled the...
You re-roll the
wait.
tens place.
The 10. Okay.
You get to roll 2 10s and take the lowest.
I rolled another 90.
I mean, that's possible.
Yeah.
Well, 90 is technically a success.
No, I get 97. It's still a 90.
As long as your dex is higher than 50, which I know it is, that's not a fumble. So.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
unfortunately, Hannah, you've been in a lot of tight spots in your life. Let's face it. And you've gotten out of them all. That luck had to run out sooner or later. By the way, that liquid down at your feet is starting to fill your shoes and crawl its way up your ankles. That level is changing. Travis, how did your roll go?
I needed a 7 for a extreme success, and I rolled a 4.
Wow,
So
all right.
I was not only
Nice.
successful, I was extremely successful.
So, Brad, you are pulled from your chair a little bit as your leg just kind of goes rogue and starts sliding underneath the table, making you realize that you are connected in this way, as Travis manages to jump up a little bit and come down and crack a couple of legs off of that chair. But since you got an extreme, you said?
I did.
The chair comes apart at the seams. Your handcuffs slide back off of the arms that are now in pieces. You have handcuffs dangling from each wrist, and you're attached to something under the table that tried to put you in park a moment ago, but you are effectively free.
I reached down to get my hood or whatever off first. And then I reach over and yank Hannah's off.
Is the fact that he yanked the chain on my leg, is that affecting my movement? Like, can I no longer... Am I stuck where I'm at? Yeah, did I get pulled to its... where it's completely taut?
It is taut, but you can command that space back in your direction after that movement on Cole's part. I know you were trying to get your other hand off. Throw me another strength check, please.
That is going to be a 58, which is a success, but not a hard one.
Okay. For the purposes of the scene, we will say that is good enough now that this thing has been compromised somewhat. You manage, now that you can kind of see and look around and have a second to kind of figure things out and aren't as desperate, you kind of look back and see that the wood is a little thinner towards where it reaches the back of the chair than it is where your arms would rest. And you manage to take it to that point and break it a little more easily. And now, 3 of the 4 people seated, imprisoned at this table, have the burlap sacks removed from their heads, and all but Hannah are free.
When I see Hannah, I say, Elle, there's probably a reason you're calling yourself Hannah. Hi, Hannah.
I see that you still have the same amount of subtlety. Hi. Great to see you.
Great
Not
to see
here.
you. I look to see where the water's coming from. I say, hold that thought. Great. Anxious to catch up. Really am.
So the only light source you have in the room is that dying candle in the middle of the table. And from its light, you do not see most of the space that you're in, you imagine. You can't perceive any walls in any direction from you. You seem to be in a relatively large space. And the water to your sight is sourceless.
I first pick up and protect the candle before it gets pumped or doused or whatever, because it is our only light. And I say, guys, I think we're all connected, so please don't yank on me, because I think we need this light. Does anybody got anything we can burn for more light?
I'm going to ignore that. I'm going to look at Hannah, look at her suit,
Off.
frown a little bit. Then I'm going to turn, and as I'm taking the burlap sack off of the fourth person, I'm going to say, you two cops.
Yeah. And
You take the burlap sack off of the fourth person's head, and golden curls tumble out. By the flickering light of the dying candle, you perceive a young woman. To your estimation, probably a teenager. Late teens, maybe a college student. Her eyes are closed, and she seems to be completely unaware of everything else that is going on. For a moment, you wonder, but then you notice the chest barely rising and falling. She's alive.
So as I'm looking at her, I am going to just check her pulse, but as I'm checking it, without looking at them, this is not the way to get a bribe.
I will tell you a way to get on a woman's good side, which is getting one out of the chains holding her to this chair. If one of you two much stronger gentlemen would perhaps oblige.
I say, my recollection, Hannah, is that you're really good at getting out of locks. Don't you have a hairpin or something?
I do.
If only she could
I can't
reach
use it.
Oh, I go over and break her chair.
Okay.
My intention is just to break it in half.
That's
her.
what I wanted you to do.
You can roll your strength and show off for Brad here.
Yeah, mine isn't going to rival Brad's.
Now, my strength is not that high, actually.
I fail by a good amount, actually. Not a fumble, but not a strength check. I go, and nothing happens.
You have luck, you have bonus die, and you have the potential to push the roll. Now, in this case, it wouldn't be yourself you were hurting if you failed to push the roll.
I'm comfortable with that. I say I need to use the wall. Ugh. And I push again.
Travis.
Pushing the chair. Well, not the wall, but whatever. You said there's not a wall, but whatever I can find to brace against.
I mean, there's probably a wall. You just can't see it at the moment.
Yeah, I'm just going to find the wall. That will work.
Okay. As you start to walk away from Brad, you feel the leash connecting your legs.
That's fine.
I'm going to yank it back.
I have a candle in my hand, too. I say, hold this, Hannah.
Okay. Who am I leashed to?
Travis makes it up as he goes along, guys. So here we go.
You find it.
Planner.
You fail to reach a wall before Brad's position prevents you from moving any further.
Okay,
Hannah,
that's a good enough. He's strong. I'll brace against that and then break it.
There we go. Hannah, you ask that question, or you think that question, and you give your leg an experimental tug. Brad, the young woman that you are investigating, lurches slightly in her chair as her leg is pulled. Travis, so you're planning to try again, so you're pushing the roll?
Oh, I'm damn sure pushing the roll, yeah.
All right. Let's go
Can
again.
I protest before he pushes it?
Can you what?
You can protest all you want, yeah.
So as he's getting ready to do this, I go, "Hey, big man, hold up!" And I want to try to examine the manacle around my ankle because I was wearing work boots, and I'm wondering if it looks like I could get my foot out if I took off my boots.
That is a fair question. You reach down to do so, and your work boots are being filled by the liquid, and you realize, now that you're kind of looking down at it for the first time, I mean, you assumed, because why wouldn't you, that you were standing in water. The light is reflecting off of this liquid peculiarly.
Awesome.
And as you're moving around, you realize it is a little thick. Almost sorghum-y.
I poke my fingers in it, and I'm going to rub it together and see how slippery it is. Like, does it feel like oil?
It doesn't feel like oil. It almost feels, imagine if you watered down a pomade just a bit.
If it was gasoline, it would reek.
Yeah, it would.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
You are.
With that thought, I smell.
Make a. I want to know what you know about substances in the natural world. There is a natural world check.
Let's see, natural world.
If you would like to make a play for a different skill, I am
natural world. I only
interested.
have a 10%.
I'm glad you're making that useful, though. I tried to crank it and ran out of skill.
I have first aid. I have pretty good first aid. As far as academics, the one thing I have is astronomy, which I don't think that's going to help me here.
That's right. Your strengths lie in other areas.
Chemistry?
Yeah.
Yes,
those
Katie?
are about the only things I can think that slightly relate.
If
Go
you
ahead.
have
Katie
over
is about
50
to
in
burst
astronomy,
with the desire to say something.
Do these things all have locks on them? Visible, like, locking mechanisms?
The chains?
Like the manacles on our feet and our hands and stuff? Yes.
The hands, on your hands there are handcuffs. You can't see the one that's on your leg anymore. It's
kind of holding
submerged.
your chair
Can I see
up.
the one on his leg since he's currently messing with it?
Nope, he's reaching down into the gunk to try and investigate it. So what were you recommending you would like to roll there, Brad?
The only thing I could think of would be first aid if it was something organic. Other than that, I kind of like Aldrin's idea of a sniff hidden roll, but we don't have that. So so
Hidden.
So that's the only thing I can think of. I mean, I do have really strong, I don't know if this applies, but I have a really strong occult knowledge.
You could also take him down the road of knowledge, just a general knowledge roll.
Yeah.
Which wouldn't get any check marks or anything, but it's an education roll.
Education is really strong.
Okay. Let's do the education roll for your sake then.
Okay.
I would say this would be a hard education roll.
I think most of them usually should be.
And I got a 28, which is a hard success.
A hard success. All right, excellent. So, sometimes process of elimination and not knowing things is as informative as actually knowing something. You start going down the list of what this could be, and you investigate it to the flickering red candlelight, and it seems to be black. No, not black. Maybe iridescent, sort of like gasoline or oil. It seems to be every color and no color all at once. It clings to your hand, but it's not sticky. It doesn't seem terribly affected by gravity, is perhaps the strangest thing about it. It doesn't want to go off your hand now that it is there. It just stays like a coating. But as you move your
Just
hand
sit there
about,
as I roll it around, and say more to myself than to them, "This isn't water."
and you are
And
not
then I
quite
turn and
sure.
like hold it up to them.
Pull the candle back, or I get Hannah to.
Your successful check, Brad, tells you that you do not know, nor have you heard of what this might be. And that is an odd proposition. And this is probably the lowest stakes sanity roll I am going to ask for this entire campaign, but I would like you to make a sanity roll. Tales of Aricia, hello! Welcome, guys, hello. Good to see you guys. We are starting a new Pulp Cthulhu campaign.
I have an 05, so I'm assuming that's an extreme success.
It'll tell you up there on your sheet, but it sounds like it.
Oh yeah, it is. There on my sheet, it doesn't give me a hard success though for sanity.
Oh yeah, sanity doesn't follow those rules. That's
okay.
Right.
It just has the extreme or not.
It's binary. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
So
right.
Yeah.
So you're not sure what this is, and that doesn't really bother you at the moment. The important thing is, it is rising, and it is not air.
I can't help but off the board think about how a natural world lore role was what was appropriate for this, and it being an 18+ stream, I can think of 3 or 4 things that I hope it's not.
So
I'm still holding her chair about 2 inches off the ground because he asked me to wait before I slam it into the ground to free the artist currently known as Hannah.
I'm pulling my feet.
We
out
will
of
share
this
what we are
stuff.
talking about with the chat at some.
So yeah, so yes, let's get to the heart of the matter. You pull your feet out of whatever this is, and you hear this sucking pop as you do so. It's not difficult, but as soon as you pull it out, there's no splash, there's no ripple. Just the surface immediately settles to being still as glass. And you have a look. You actually have to push this stuff away from the manacle.
Or
something.
You get a look at it.
You get a look at it, and it seems to be a rather archaic. Like, you have these fairly modern handcuffs around your wrist. There is like a museum piece of a set of manacles around your leg.
Do I have anything in my pocket that could possibly be used as a pick? Because I do have a decent sleight of hand.
Sir, I would be glad to do this for you.
She
if
so desperately wants
somebody
to
would
turn.
get me out of this godforsaken chair.
So the
Please.
question about Brad is, and we asked this question in the very last campaign we played, is Brad the kind of guy that goes actually everywhere with lockpicks in his pocket? Do you own a set, and do you take them out of the house with you to college parties?
Probably not, but he is probably the type who has used them before.
Okay.
Maybe not an expert, maybe not someone who's really good at it, but someone who might know the rudimentary process.
That is good to know. You start fishing around in your pockets. You go ahead and make a luck roll for me. You just take your luck stat and try and roll below it. As you are doing so, Travis, it seems that the immediacy of not freeing your former acquaintance has passed, if you would like to make this attempt.
Yep. I say, close your eyes, Hannah. Slam her down into the Vaseline.
That's a sentence.
Yeah, there's no stream that you'll hear that sentence on besides this one.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Oh,
There's a lot of
God.
stuff out there.
Yeah.
Welcome, Raiders. This is Misty Mountain Streaming.
Cthulhu.
All right. How'd that roll go?
I didn't. Is this a strength roll? Again, this is
you're
my
welcome to
push
do strength or brawl if you wish. Well, this is the push roll. Yes, then use the same one.
Yeah,
please.
it's the strength. Yeah. Yes, I made it.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't. It's just a normal success, but I made it. 56 against a 65.
Hannah, you find yourself approaching the situation in the next moments as you extricate yourself from the wreckage of what was once your seat. In the same situation as the gentleman, that your hands and arms are free, and that you have one leg, specifically your left leg, attached to something under the table. Brad, how'd that luck roll go, by the way?
I rolled a 42. My overall luck is 75.
75. So, it is not necessarily the ideal tool for this situation, but you have a when I say utility knife, I mean you have a pocket knife.
Okay.
Now, normally on a set of handcuffs, this would be quite useless, and it's still not ideal for the circumstance. But the tumblers, the keys in this old set of manacles may be manageable with this.
That's what I was hoping for. So would this be a sleight of hand roll?
Well, let's give just a moment as we begin, because finally Hannah is able to act in the scene. And let's find out what she is doing as you are rummaging through every pocket in your ensemble.
All right. I will say that, and I hope you would find this reasonable considering my profession. I have my hair in a pretty neat kind of updo, nice for the party, but it is held together with several pins and whatnot. And one of those pins I will now pull out of that updo. It's been holding together. That is
It's held together
made...
better before someone put a burlap sack over it, but yes.
Yes. We'll worry about that when we're not in this Cthulhu juice.
Way better.
Can someone brand that and create that as a refreshing beverage?
Can I give her a bonus die for that?
I'll transfer yours if you want.
Yeah, give her mine.
Okay. Anyway, continue. Sorry. I couldn't let that phrase go by unaddressed.
Understandable. I'm going to reach it down, or at least try to get my foot up above the liquid where I can see it, and get this manacle thing off of my ankle with my lockpick device.
Attempt, and you pull your leg, excitingly, up onto the table. And as you do, the chair across from you topples, and the young woman splashes down into the Vaseline, into the
my next
unknown
call
substance.
was going to be to bring her around, so I was poised to do that. I just didn't want to interrupt Hannah's time.
But yes, you, as Brad is fumbling through his pockets, you whip out exactly the kind of tool that you need for the situation. It is not ideal on such an old lock, as I was intimating to Brad. But when has that ever stopped you from picking a lock before? If you want to roll your lock picking, you may. I think I would normally give you a penalty die because of the difference in the locks, and you're not using the right tool for something this large. But it's also kind of big, clumsy, and old school compared to the locksmithing technology of the day. So I'm just going to balance that out and say just make a regular success, please.
Okay. Oh, yeah. For lockpicking, I rolled a 42.
All right.
So that, or locksmith, yeah, so that's a regular success.
If I hear a number below 50 for you guys with Pulp Cthulhu rules, I'm assuming it's a success.
Honestly.
Excellent, though. You make... Yes, do. Thank you, Mike. Do check it for future use. When we do an investigator development phase, you will potentially improve your lockpicking. And you... and by the way, for Brian's sake, if you would ever like to roll something different than what you were rolling, I may modify how difficult it might be, but you're welcome to roll anything that you want that is applicable.
Right.
And this may help you...
I was about to ask.
Yeah, this may help you get...
My actual locksmithing is only 1%. I was basing this off of sleight of hand skills. So. I think my
Now-
ham-fisted attempts to do this are probably not going to go over well.
That said, you want to roll skills, because
Yes, I
skills
do.
improve, attributes do not.
Got it.
So, even if it's maybe a little harder, sometimes it might be worth the attempt.
He
Leo
once
wasn't
let
around
me
at the
make a
beginning.
hard dodge roll to slide down a banister. That kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm pretty open to whatever you guys have in mind, as long as it could result in pain for your characters. To Leo, who just spent hard-earned channel points on a bonus die, I said at the beginning of the stream, which unfortunately you weren't there for. I'm super glad that you're here, by the way, Leo. I'm not doing those until next week, because I'm going to be changing how we use them for Pulp Cthulhu. If you will remind me next week, I will let you go ahead and start Travis off with what we will be doing next week.
Thanks for the attempt.
Right. So, the situation as it stands is there is a young woman in a trench coat, half submerged in something.
I'm getting her.
Two gentlemen constrained by their legs, and a entirely free, though wearing some very fashionable bracelets, Hannah Cooper. Travis, you walk over around the table and pick the woman up. Again, there's a squelching sound as you set her upright. And you realize that
I'm going to bring her around. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
the level of this stuff has risen, well, not to your knees, nearly, but it has risen nearly to the knees of
Normal humans,
of
non-mutated
Hannah,
humans.
now that she is standing. You start attempting to bring her around as who has the lowest luck in the group? Is that Travis?
I'm going to go on a limb and say it's me.
Travis.
I'm a 55. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just silently nodding.
He's lower than me.
So you still got decent odds. I would like you to make a luck roll as the candle flame sputters for a moment.
Okay.
It has gone unaddressed.
I rolled a 46 against a 55.
The candle flame flickers but holds as you raise the woman up. You feel a slight tug, or you don't
I
feel
try
a slight
to
tug.
just pass
Like,
it to
slides
Hannah
underneath.
if I can before I have to do that again. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's fine. You did pass the candle to her earlier as you were trying to break her out. But since you're the unluckiest member of the party, you're just rolling for the group.
I'm the magnet for our failures. I understand.
Yep. As someone else spends their luck and becomes the unluckiest member of the party, you will pass that torch, like you passed that candle.
I'm happy to take the hit for the team.
So you raise her and you begin. How do you go about trying to rouse this woman?
I'm just gonna do the typical taps on the cheek, and the second that doesn't work, just start screaming in her face. We're all gonna die in Cthulhu juice. Wake up.
Gosh.
I haven't had a cigarette or a drink, and when y'all get to know my character, you'll understand. In I don't know how long, but it's been too long.
Too long.
So he is agitated.
You are unsuccessful in rousing the woman by shouting and tapping at her cheeks, which, it is worth noting, are quite pallid.
I will use my first aid or medicine, whichever you require me to use. First aid would be way better, to see if she is alive.
Mhm.
And if so, I will massage whatever artery needs to be massaged to wake her up, or whatever.
Go ahead and roll the first aid.
I got a 30 against a 31. I had 1 point I didn't know what to do with, and I put it in first aid. So, yeah, I made that.
So, you are not successful in rousing her. However, you were able to determine the reason why. This woman has certainly been drugged. there's very little that you can do about this to rouse her, at least until this clears her system. You begin to kind of look her over. You push up the sleeves. You kind of open her eyes and have a look. Having a look at the pupils, she's the victim of some sort of opiate, by her own free will or otherwise.
I share that with the group. I just say, look, guys, dude, don't know your name. I'm Travis. That's Hannah. This girl's drugged. We've got to get out of here before we drown. We'll get to know each other soon. Feel free to share your name. Let's find a way out of here.
Without looking up, I say Brad, and I keep digging at this manacle with this big-ass knife I've got.
Oh, for Jesus Christ's sake. I'm going to walk over there and see if I can lockpick it for him.
I got an 05.
Wow.
Oh, no,
I only
you succeeded.
But now on my locks, I don't have locksmithing skills. I do have sleight of hand skills. So my locksmithing skills technically are 1%, which means... but I did get an 05. Does that help? Does that do anything for me?
So, I would like to know what you're rolling before you roll it, just in general. So I can let you know what kind of success that you need. A 5 would generally pass just about anything that you rolled. For the sake of this, I would invite you. I don't think I would consider this particularly sleight of hand. If you would like to spend 4 luck and buy yourself a success at your locksmithing,
I will
Way to do it.
definitely spend 4 luck.
That's going to give you the opportunity to add a D10 to it later, dude.
That's worth it.
Luck
Absolutely
cannot buy
Oh,
you're right.
luck,
You're
you
right. You're
can't.
right. You don't get a check
character
mark.
improvement.
I
But-
have tried
I
to break
forgot
that
about that.
rule every other stream.
The only reason I'm following the rules that I'm following, though, is because of your direct intervention. So,
Wait, I literally wrote them down today.
I truly opened that by blind luck because I didn't know what the hell I was doing with this knife.
yeah, really,
That's great,
it's probably more violent than dexterous than anything. You're just
exactly.
stabbing into
Break
it,
it.
hoping something will break, and it happens to be the manacle before the knife.
I do look up at Hannah with a satisfied look, since she was just talking to me in a condescending tone about lockpicking.
What does that bring
I'm
your
under some
luck
stress.
to, by the way, Brad?
Say again?
What does that bring your luck to?
That brings me down to 71.
Okay, still not the lowest luck in the party.
By a long shot.
Yeah.
I will say, Hannah, as you are standing watching this, you go over to start helping this relative stranger. And the motion of that movement starts to fan the flame once again. If something is not done about this immediately, it will go out. So you are holding it. You have a moment to do something.
Okay. Oh gosh.
Now you are entirely equipped with everything that you would bring to a party at a college.
Okay. I'm really sorry to both of you. I'm gonna take my shirt off. It is heavily starched and will be quite flammable, especially after I pull the flask of whiskey out of my belt and douse it in alcohol. And I will pick up the broken leg from one of the wooden chairs, wrap a torn piece of fabric around it, and hold it over this candle flame.
That is... I was going to say that is everything I hoped you would do, because I was hoping for the table leg, or the chair leg, and the alcohol. I'm not going to say that I was hoping that you would take your shirt off. But it works exactly as intended. And as the flame instantly is 100 times larger than it was an instant ago, you all get a better idea of your surroundings.
A nod to the flask. Any left?
I'll just hold it out to him.
And I'll take it and look
Realizing
around.
that I now have all the things that I would bring to this party. I pull out my cigarette case and light a cigarette off of the torch.
Absolutely.
And wish there was a chair that I hadn't broken to just sit down in for a second.
I will say, Travis, anything that was in your pockets, you have, and that is true for all of you.
Yeah.
Your cane is not with you.
Huh. That's
making you think perhaps you didn't come here.
That's a dick move.
Perhaps you didn't walk here.
Okay, yes, I was carried. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
As soon as
most
the room is brighter,
most of my good gear is in the trunk of my car. I'll never say I have it with me, but the cane I would always have with me.
That is, yes, it is telling. That said, now that the flame is bigger, you all get the sense of the room that you are in. I say room. For while there is furniture, and there is manacles, and there are handcuffs, walls, in the sense that you know them, there are not. Instead, you look to the left and right, behind you and up, and you see... Is there a better word than flesh? Not skin, per se. Not epidermis. Not follicles. Not hair. Not anything such as that. No tissue. Organic matter. Stretched thin. And throbbing.
It's a word you rarely hear in role-playing games.
It pulses. And seems to be alive.
Super.
You see no doors. You see no stairs. What you do see is what I'm unfortunately obliged to call a sphincter.
Awesome. Never hear that word in role-playing games.
A taut aperture at one end of the room that one could hardly consider a means of egress. And the level of whatever this is that you are almost wading in at this point has quite nearly reached it.
Oh.
He's going to make us go through a butthole.
Yeah, pretty much.
And on that note, with a pending and looming sanity check, as we come back from the break, we must go to a break.
Yeah, I need some more wine. Especially if I'm going into this.
We're talking sphincters and flesh and throbbing, and we just need a...
Throbbing Sphincter is a good name for a band.
Yeah, that's... I'm pretty sure that's playing somewhere in Arkham right now.
It just reminded me of my younger brother's old punk band.
No. Sassy Skittles in the chat says, I hope everything comes out okay. That is the note that we'll leave it on, guys. We're going to go to a break. We will be back. Let's just call it 5 minutes, guys. We'll do our best to stick to 5 bathrooms, refreshments, and we'll be back to continue this in a moment. See you soon. All right. And we're back. Welcome back to Pulp Cthulhu Miskatonic Misadventure and to our sphincter-filled introductory episode. Now, before we get back into the roleplay, I made a promise. Where did it
that
go?
We would have a sanity roll.
Well, even before that, it was up here somewhere. Leo said... Where did it go,
Something
Leo?
about
You
all
made
of
a
us rolling a
request.
10-sided?
I think that was it. I think he wanted everyone to roll a 10-sided, but I cannot find the message right now. So, could all of the players, I don't know if I'm supposed to do it or not, but certainly could all of the players just roll a d10, please?
Absolutely.
I don't even know why. How exciting. No, James. Throbbing, yes. Yanking, no. I don't know where you got yanking.
Mike, you're muted.
Yanking the chains.
Oh.
Pulsating.
Silly me. I had Discord muted. There's too many places to mute yourself in this game.
So I got a big 4 on my 10-sided.
Okay.
I got a 7.
I got to 6.
So I don't know if high is good or low is good, but either way, Katie is not.
7 is lucky.
Oh.
That's fair. It's true. Excited to find out why the hell we did that, but hey, Leo asks and we
now
do.
He wants you to now he wants you to roll a
gosh.
d4.
Me a d4?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. Hang on, it fell on the... I've got another one. I'm taking them out of a rolling tray to roll them out of the tray. I don't know what I'm doing.
You're not really a good advertisement for Misty Mountain dice trays.
4. There we go. I'm actually not... I'm in the warehouse right now. I'm not even using a Misty Mountain Gaming dice tray. I'm using one that I was given as a gift by my sister-in-law. So there's that. What?
Oh my god!
Holy
What?
Cow.
Am I reading that right?
Nice.
My stream is broken.
Buddy?
Wow, man.
Leo Yeager has doomed us all to listen to the twinkling sounds of new subscribers for the next half hour.
I'm muted in that.
Because Dan gave out 68 community subs.
Damn. You're the man.
Nice.
They rolled low, so I had you be a multiplier, he says.
And these people love a good fleshy sphincter.
Damn, dude. Thank you. That is a... I have no idea if that is a channel record because people around here have been so generous. I think that's got to be the most at frickin' once. And gosh, the Cthulhu, darn it, man. I don't doubt that's ever going to be topped.
68.
I need to I'm owing myself. Dan, do nothing about this. I'm gonna go and use an alt account to subscribe to the channel just so we can have had 69. It's just too close.
Well, that's important. And I'd like to point out you wouldn't let him buy me a bonus die. That's the kind of guy you are.
Boy. Thank you so much, dude. I know everybody comes here to watch us be goofy and talk about, eldritch horror body parts. Man, that's so encouraging. What a great guy. What a nice thing. Thank you, buddy.
Oh.
Thanks, man. That's really encouraging. He said, "Welcome back, Rob." I liked being here, guys.
Still lobbying for my bonus die out there.
Okay, you can have a bonus die. Jeez, Mike.
And not me. I'm reading the chat. Give the people what they want.
There you go.
I am a slave to the fans.
Yeah, I can have that bonus die now. Yes, Leo. Leo asks and Leo receives, with or without incredibly generous gifts to the channel. Man, what a great year. Yes, Tales of Aricia. I loved seeing you at New York. I still have that picture. I don't think we posted that picture yet, but I have it saved on my phone, and I am delighted to have it. It was so cool to meet you, man. Believe it or not, I actually do still get excited meeting people from the internet when I go to cons, especially people in our little family. Also, hello to Katia Saturday. I see you out there. Love you, hon. What does Holdren say? It only took 68 subs to do what? Oh, Leo Yeager is the GOAT. Leo Yeager is indeed the GOAT. You guys are all amazing. This is my favorite corner of the internet, and it is not because of me. It is because of y'all.
Nice. That's cool.
Brian, you're coming around to stream on this channel now. This is the awesome people that you get to hang out with now. You're welcome.
In fact, Katya is one of my players. She plays a slightly neurotic saboteur on Winds of Wild.
That is Katya in real life, by my understanding, is a slightly neurotic saboteur.
Maybe a little bit.
If anything else is true,
she's feeling misrepresented by the adjective slightly.
Look, you should take that as a personal challenge and go be an incredibly neurotic saboteur. Okay. Everybody, including Leo, is here to have us play Cthulhu, so I think we should get back to it.
On to the sanity checks.
Sanity checks. And you know what? No, I was about to be either nice or cruel, just to make things more entertaining. But let's just do some good old sanity checks. As the great Lord Cthulhu intended.
Sorry, got to get back to my character sheet. Here we go.
By the way, as you guys are rolling, Mike spent his time today and on previous days not only creating, but updated a previously created and completely recreated a reference chart for how sanity is supposed to work, not only in Cthulhu, but specifically in Pulp Cthulhu. And if you are looking to learn the system, or if you are looking to improve your games, or do anything at home, or make things easier on yourself, that is what Mike does on his channel on YouTube. Is he takes things that are require a lot of referencing, require a lot of going through lots of different books, and he does all the researching so you don't have to, and he converts them into a very consumable format. So if you are running Pathfinder, or primarily Pathfinder on the channel at this point, I think, but also Cthulhu and also D&D to some extent, DM Diggy Squirrel on YouTube, spelled exactly like you think it is. How did the sanity checks go, my friends? Anyone
Poorly.
fail for me?
Poorly.
I mean, I
failed.
passed, but it was a 71. I just have really strong sanity.
All you got to do is pass, and my luck and sanity both suck, and I failed. I failed without really it even being close.
I have passed.
You have passed. By the way, I'd like to note, we are still listening to little blings from Leo's gift on YouTube.
I'm still muted. I haven't been distracted by a single one.
I love it. Also, I don't want to
I've mastered
overlook
this technology ahead of you guys.
Majestic Biscuit, friend of the channel and also fellow streamer and also probably here to support Katie, as are we all. Came in and cheered 69 bits, and I don't want to have that be overlooked. Thank you for contributing to the channel. Thank you for your gift.
It's quite a biscuit move.
So I hate doing this to people, so I will have you do it to yourself, Travis. Why don't you roll me a d6, please?
Wow, that's a lot.
Hmm.
Let me get one of these. I've got these cheating Misty Mountain Gaming dice that will roll whatever I ask them to.
So
This should be a 1.
the good news is, it is a D6 halved. I'm really having you roll a D3, but we don't have a D3, so you're rolling a D6.
Well, then it's a 3, because I rolled a 5. If that makes sense to anybody who knows how D3s work.
Well, the good news, Travis, is that you only take 3 points of sanity damage. Why don't we
Which
reference?
apparently was the maximum.
Why don't we reference a lovely chart to find out what happens to you? So I know you don't have any underlying insanity.
And I lost 4 or less, so nothing happens.
So
Sorry, I don't have arrows. The program I was using didn't have arrows, but it still makes sense to me.
Now, anytime you lose any sanity, you still lose control of yourself for a moment. Am I right?
1 round, I am yours, and whatever you say I do in that moment of terror is what happens. I put the most popular things on the little sheet I made. They could be scream, run, vomit, drop what you're holding, freeze, shoot somebody, whatever I could do.
I'm rooting for etc.
So
Rob's good at etc. That's like his best thing.
that is probably means more to me than you know. You're holding the young woman right now, aren't you? You picked her up.
I did. I'm trying to just. She's nothing. I assume from the way you described her. So my goal was just to keep her out of the sludge, while I'm assuming Ellie is going to unlock all of us at some point. Because I know I'm not unlocking this.
So,
I have been attempting to do so.
Sorry, not Ellie, Hannah. Sorry, that's going to be a problem for both Mike and Travis.
that's called immersive role playing.
Yes, thank you.
So that the chat doesn't think I'm letting you get off easily. For a moment as you do this, I'd like. Now we had this discussion, Mike and Rob, about not asking other players to make rolls. If you want to make a roll, you should be making a roll. Hannah is occupied with a torch and taking in her surroundings. Brad, you were occupied freeing yourself.
Well, and I had Hannah's flask, which I was getting ready to swig from.
Also true.
Yeah.
No one in this case then notices that Travis drops the young woman for a moment, and at this part everyone notices. It's pretty clear. The squelching, sucking sound of the young woman returning to the colorless, every color goop that is beyond everyone's knees at this point, and she begins to sink surprisingly quickly for such a thick substance. As she
react to this?
As she falls, unbeknownst to everyone in the room who is otherwise occupied, something slips out of her pocket and is lost forever to the Cthulhu juice. But, yes, everyone can react as they please now. That moment is all that occurs from the sanity loss.
We lost the thing that we don't know what the thing is, but we needed the thing. And it's
That sounds accurate. So as I'm getting ready to take a swig, staring perplexed at this sphincter in the wall, I hear this squelch, and I'm gonna flip around and go, "What the hell are you doing?" and reach down and try to pull the girl out.
You reach down. She's broken the surface, but it's not very deep, or is it? As you reach down, you reach surprisingly far, farther than you think you should have to. Farther than the surface that you are standing on, and the surface that Travis is right beside you, standing on. But you do find the belt, the strap on that coat that she's wearing, and manage to haul her back to the surface with relative ease.
I pull her up, and then I just stare down at where I pulled her out for a second.
As soon
Kind
as
of
she breaks the
bewildered.
surface, it becomes an opaque, lightly iridescent plane once again.
We've got to get out of here.
That's what I said. Hannah? And I hold my wrists out.
I like how instead of answering, she pops another thing into her.
Yeah, whatever was keeping
I
her
will
from
oblige.
participating, she gets more.
I will oblige. It was already in my hand.
Leo, it's
First of
still going! What?
Wow. I'm
What?
oblivious.
Absolute insanity.
We caught up!
I'm
We
tempted.
caught up, ladies and gentlemen! Now
gonna-
Majestic
Real-
Biscuit finally gets credit.
We spent so much time doing our
Woo!
sanity rolls. We forgot to ask Daniel to do one. So wait, okay, back to the chains.
Yes.
Are the manacles around Travis's wrists? Are they like? Do I feel like they're really weighing him down?
No.
Okay.
He
look.
freed you. He picked up a woman. He broke himself out. Like, these are not slowing him down at all. They are functionally fashion accessories for him at this point.
But the one around the ankles are, I assume, quite heavy. So even though Brad is no longer attached to the other end of the chain,
They're not going to stop him moving, but they would be inconvenient. They might slow him down. They also might get caught on something. You're not sure. Certainly more than the handcuffs.
And Travis limps anyway. I mean, you should remember that.
yeah, right. I'm going to look at Travis and just say, leg on the table.
I comply.
And I
Now,
will,
You're holding a torch now.
yes,
So
hold it out towards Brad. The torch. Drink the whiskey, you hold the torch.
the topless woman hands you a torch.
It's better just to do what she says, Brad.
I still
Saves
got like a
time.
suit. I've still got like a suit jacket. This is not completely inappropriate. It's just
If
For-
it is even a little,
for the
that's
time-
actually an excellent point. I hadn't thought of that. If it is even a tiny bit inappropriate, like a little bit, Travis insists you wear his jacket, which he can't take off because of the manacles, and he still is trying.
it's leg.
I put my leg wherever she tells me to put my leg as much as I'm able without drowning in Cthulhu juice.
You are going to be the last person in this room to drown in Cthulhu juice.
Okay.
6
I assume I
foot
can just sit on the floor and my head will be out of it.
Yes, but not for very much longer.
Yeah, I got you. And there's some mysterious bottomless feature to it as well.
Yeah, something weird's going on.
I find something to prop on and get my leg up there for.
Okay, not a problem. Go ahead and you've already checked locksmithing, haven't you, Hannah? All right.
Yeah.
Another straight roll for you with your tools and with the arcane nature of the manacles. Brad, holding a flask in one hand and a torch in the other. Are you just witnessing this happen? Are you waiting for everyone? What are you doing?
I'm holding up the girl in one hand. I never had the torch, as far as I remember, unless she handed it to me.
She is offering
was
you
trying
at
to
least
hand it to
the
you.
torch, so
Oh,
she
okay.
can work with both
So
hands
I'm
on
juggling the
manacles.
girl, the torch, and the bottle. I'm gonna finish the bottle.
I was gonna say, just put the flask in your mouth and just turn it up.
I'm gonna
Me
finish
and-
the flask, toss it aside.
Me and
It's
Brad,
okay,
then-
No,
one
my
too.
flask! Don't
It's a
throw
silver
it.
flask.
I look back apologetically, and then I'm gonna look a little bit closer at the sphincter, and kind of
Wow. That just trumped anything I've said prior.
Yes.
That is awesome. That is great.
I know I did this to myself, and yet, you know what? Brian, you get to walk into the next room later if she's not watching already and say, you know what I did tonight to your wonderful bride? Say, I closely examined the sphincter with my friends on the
Hey.
internet.
Sometimes you got to do it.
Thank you, TL Holdren, for rounding us out to 69 gifted subs. You're sixth of the stream, I believe. Thank you very much. I don't mean to neglect, by the way. I normally I don't announce these things in the middle of the stream, but people have been so generous, I just kind of have to. Thank you to Farconis for dropping us a follow and for subscribing with Prime, the smart way to support the channel that doesn't cost you any extra money. And to Trapmaster, and of course, I have no idea if he's still here or not, to our good friend Eric Bra, who played Excelsior with us, and a personal chum of mine. Love you, Eric. Thank you for cheering the 5 bits. I appreciate you very much. Yes. So, you would like to closely examine the sphincter. Let's call this... What are you hoping to glean?
It never gets old. I'm sorry.
I'm debating whether to go through it.
Okay.
Because I'm starting to see no other choice.
So...
And that's kind of... I'm going to glance back at the rest of them and basically say as much. I think...
I know exactly what I'm saying when I tell you that you think it'd be tight.
The hits keep on coming. To just for my own, what do we see up?
The same material?
Fleshy. Okay. All right. That's fine.
How
far away? Like how much between my 6'6" head and the ceiling? What are we talking about? The ceiling, I realize, is air quotes.
Ellie could stand on your shoulders. Hannah, pardon. Now I'm doing it.
Hey, we're all going to do it, and again, we probably ought to explain it to people at some point.
I'm sure we will get to the why of why of Hannah at some point, but Hannah could stand on your shoulders in this space
and not touch it,
and nearly touch it.
Okay,
could certainly reach above her head and touch it.
Please go back to Brad. I just wanted to have some sense of where we are before I agree with him.
Now I will
I'm
say,
going to turn around.
Nothing.
I'm going to look at each of them.
Nothing that has interacted with this liquid has floated. It is worth saying.
Yeah,
not even considered floating.
Right.
And I'm sorry, Brad. Go ahead.
No worries. I turn around. I look at the others. I look down at the liquid. I say, this shit has no bottom. And that doesn't make any sense. And it's going to keep coming up. And I think we have two choices. We either get swallowed by this crap or... And then I turn and look down at the sphincter.
And when I say sphincter, by the way, it bears saying, because I was not very specific. The aperture of it is quite tightly closed. But you imagine that... I mean, you had to get in here somehow, right? You imagine...
I don't think I require the ins and outs of it, so to speak.
That's kind of my thing. I feel like we're heading for a very detailed exit from this place that's going to cover everything Rob is about to say.
Exactly.
Everything you're imagining is correct. Katya, I'm glad this is the stream you make it to.
And then I shrug.
3 points of sanity just for the sake. I mean, we're all heroes, and this is pulp and not normal. But I just lost 3 points of sanity, and you're talking about going through the sphincter, and I start like knuckling my temple, and I don't say anything.
I shrug, and I'm going to pass the girl to Travis.
I take her.
And I go...
While my lock is getting picked.
I'll go first.
Now you're also holding the light source at the moment.
I hand that over to Hannah.
Take.
And then I take it from her because I know she's going to hand it to me.
So let's go ahead and settle this because it is important for Rob's imagining of the scene. How tall are Hannah and Brad approximately? When I say that the Cthulhu juice is up to Brad's waist, is that worse or better for Hannah?
extremely short. She's about 5'7". But she does have heels on. She got a little bit of added height.
Mm.
So it would be pushing about
5'8".
mid-torso on her, I would assume.
Yeah, I mean, I'm almost a foot taller than she is.
Now,
Yeah.
So that may be a consideration. Perhaps not. If one of you's
Making my
head
way
is going to
to the
be
sphincter.
submerged first, it may not be Brad's. But not knowing what's on the other side of a sphincter, maybe Brad is too much of a gentleman to let a lady go first.
As soon as Travis takes that torch, I'm going towards the sphincter.
Okay.
Am I unlocked yet? Are we still connected?
Did you make the roll, by the way, Hannah?
Oh, yeah. I rolled a 25.
I assumed it went well. All right. Yes,
Okay,
you're free.
So as long as that's the case, all these options are on the table. I just want to make sure we weren't a chain gang anymore. So that's fine.
Yeah, you're good. Thank you for reminding me. I for some reason, running this game as opposed to D&D, I'm so everything everywhere all at once. Rather
It just
trying
has
to
a
keep
lot less
things moving.
structure to it, but that's part of the fun. So I assume also that the unconscious drugged girl is not attached to anyone anymore, although she still has
Well,
chains
She
on
still
her.
has a very extra anklet on at the moment.
Yeah. She's got all the anklets on her, but none of us are connected to it. Is that true? Yeah. Okay. So she's on my shoulder, like fireman style.
Okay.
Oh. Something we should have thought of.
Well, I'm thinking of it, but I'm also like,
I'm just thinking if we
insane.
still had a chain connected to somebody, that would be something to pull them back out if necessary. But that ship has sailed. So
Oh.
To force an unconscious girl through a sphincter, she is completely unable to offer consent.
that wasn't where I was going with.
That's legal in Vegas.
All right.
And Thailand.
Brad will bravely.
I am gonna go first.
Yep. Let's.
Are you just touching the sphincter
I'm
with your fingers?
Just never
gonna go in.
When I sat down tonight, I did not know that this was going to be such a thing, and yet here we are. So I'm gonna. There's just nothing to do but press forward, is there?
Pretty much.
We just got to deal with it. So the good news is, the stuff that is covering you is going to make this somewhat easier.
We're lubed up, you might say.
You might. I was trying not to, but you might, Mike. Thank you. Appreciate the service you provide for this stream. On the other hand, this thing is quite tight and will require some sincere effort on your part to force your way through.
And it's prom night all over again.
Y'all enjoying the stream, guys? This is the scary Cthulhu game.
Spooky.
Alrighty then. I'm going in.
All right. Tell me, Brian.
Yes.
What is it you would like to roll in this situation?
I would think dexterity to wriggle my way through.
Okay. I could be sold on that. Yeah. And you know, this is I'll be frank with you.
Okay.
This is an achievable task. The problem is going to be more how quickly it is accomplished than whether or not it is accomplished.
Because I'm not going to be able to breathe while I'm in there.
Well, primarily because the Cthulhu juice level behind you is going to be rising the entire time.
So if I'm not through fast enough, then the others might have a hard time getting through.
Yes. So, if you would like to roll...
Can I... How much more difficult would it be for me to get through if I am taking with me the chain that is connected to the girl?
I would award you a penalty die for trying to do basically anything other than get yourself through. Just if you have any additional consideration, you will roll an additional percentile and take the least favorable result. It's Cthulhu's version of disadvantage in 5th edition D&D
Okay.
terms.
Because I'm just thinking otherwise we're going to end up leaving her behind.
That is a real possibility.
Unless we can yank her through.
Well, you don't know, so I won't say that.
I will attempt it.
Okay.
But if I get halfway through and it feels like I'm not going to make it, I will lose the chain. But I'll do my best to hang on to it.
So, for the stated goal, for the time being, you're going to spend a little time and effort making this attempt. You're going to roll your dexterity. I'll say... We'll just go for regular success with a penalty die, because you were trying to do this with the girl's lifeline.
Got it.
What is your two characters' build size, if you don't mind me asking? Down by your combat, are you build 1 or a build 0?
What do you mean? Where's build?
It's a number down in the bottom right hand corner of your.
Oh, I'm a 1.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Are all of you 1?
Okay.
I'm also
my
1.
first roll.
I was going to point out, even with my 90 size, I'm a 1. If I had 5 more strength, I'd be a 2.
My first roll just barely made it by 2. And then my second roll made it a little better. So I did make it, but I only made it by 2.
You made
I have an 80 dexterity. I got a 78 was my least advantageous roll.
You are a dexterous mother lover.
It's the boxing.
Yep. That's it. Float like a butterfly, and then the rest of that stuff. That would come along many years later.
You did me a big favor, because I'm going to be struggling to get through it all. So that was awesome.
I will note that Mythical Mania and Mirth of Frogs are both noting just how many times the words throbbing, wood, chains, yanking, Cthulhu juice, and sphincters have come up in this evening.
Well, you were missing my favorite word as a writer, which is writhe.
Writhe. Okay.
Writhing.
Where's the notebook? Word. We're gonna work writhe in very soon. I haven't mentioned how moist everyone is feeling here in the Cthulhu juice.
My setup here at my house, by the way, guys, nobody can hear you guys. You're in my ears, but everybody in my house can hear me. So every time I say sphincter and lube,
it's a good thing.
I'm sure somebody's raising their eyebrow in another room.
I won't say that.
I have been caught saying some questionable things during D&D by roommates.
It's very good that I'm in a
Rob when they ask questions.
I'm a bad influence on my own uncle. Usually it's the other way around.
Exactly, Teal Holdren.
So, Brad.
Yep.
You wriggle and squirm, push, and do your best to excrete yourself through this opening. To quite a scene to everyone behind you as you make this effort. You find that it is deeper than you would have hoped it would be. Instead of a narrow aperture, you have your entire torso wriggling and writhing through the space for farther than children. That is the appropriate emote. Gosh darn. But though it is slow going, you are successful. And you emerge on the other side. Head first, full breach. Before the rest of your body follows, your eyes see through the flickering light of what is either a faulty fuse or an insufficiently screwed in light bulb.
Oh, Lord.
A cement hallway with a tiled floor. Rather, to your mind, poorly done, or perhaps just done a long time ago before modern processes had quite successfully been established. You see doors on your left and right. The tiles alternate between what was probably once white, but now somewhere between brown and gray and black, almost in a checker or chessboard pattern, as they extend beyond you to the edge of the flickering single bulb, swinging from the ceiling. As your head first, then your shoulders, and the rest of you emerges, grasping onto this chain as you go. The chain itself only 3, 4 at best feet long, as the young woman back in the filling room is obliged to press herself up against the fleshy wall next.
Well, she's still out, right?
You have no idea where you are anymore. In fact, as you turn around, you see a cement wall with a chain sticking out of it. You press your hand against it, and it is solid, it is firm, it is there. And there is a chain sticking out of it.
Oh, I'm going to take the chain and start pulling.
All right, you may make a... I can't think of anything better than a strength check. There is no assistance coming to you from the other end of that chain, as far as her ability to wriggle on your behalf. So you will be doing this with a penalty die, I'm afraid.
Oh, okay. So first roll was a 36, which would make it, but second roll, I have 65 strength, and that is a 64.
That is a success. It is not quick, but to the two of you in the torchlight, with your... it's not quite to your shoulders yet, but it has reached your chest, Hannah. The rising level of the Cthulhu juice. In fact, given the particular position of the aperture on the wall, you watch the young woman be submerged as she is obliged by force to follow Brad through.
I'd suggest Hannah go now, and as soon as she starts, I'm going to push her feet to give her a bonus on whatever she is doing.
I'm going to kind of... this is a hard sentence to say. I want to kind of put some Cthulhu juice on my shoulders and stuff. So I
It's good thinking.
slide
I see you
through,
do that and start nodding.
Slide through a little bit easier.
That's smart. I start doing the same thing. I'm lathering up with Cthulhu juice.
No, you can't laugh. I'll start laughing again.
It is a good reminder, and I should say, Brad, in the flickering hallway, you're not covered in Cthulhu juice.
Am I completely dry? Is there any trace of it?
What I will say is you are wet. Your clothes... Thank you. Sorry, Mike. You are soggy.
Stop.
You are... Your apparel feels and clings to you and is heavy as though you had just gone for a swim. But a trace, as you put it, there is none.
No slime.
Mm-mm. Your hair is great, though. Now, as you are pulling, and you are successfully pulling, from the cement wall, the young woman materializes. And as, unbeknownst to you, Hannah begins to squirm through, being pushed by Travis Cole. You are alone in all respects, a perfectly ordinary-looking hallway with this unconscious young woman in a coat.
I watch carefully as Hannah's coming through. Like, how does the wall distort? Does it just look like she's coming straight through a brick wall? What's the visual on it?
Well, I guess we should find out if Hannah is coming. Hannah, how would you like to proceed?
Yeah.
Phrasing.
Yeah.
I wasn't even trying with that one.
Sorry.
I've slathered up a bit,
Yep.
and hopefully,
The fact that you're topless is helpful.
yes, it is. Bulgarian Cthulhu juice wrestling.
You know how when we play the D&D streams, we invite people to draw your favorite scene from the session? No.
Please don't. Oh God, don't.
No.
Don't tempt me. Don't tempt me.
That's not cool, man. That would not be cool.
Go, just talk, Katie. I'm sorry.
All right, sorry. We're wasting time. It's my fault. I'll be quiet.
That's good. I'm greatly enjoying it and incredibly embarrassed that this is how I spend my free time. In front of a camera on the internet. Woo! All right.
Okay. I'm entering the sphincter.
What are you rolling?
I think that dexterity is also going to be a good one for this one.
Do it. Let's just get through it. Let's.
Okay.
Yeah, well, mine's going to take a while. I'll just go ahead and tell y'all.
Unless I could use.
I have
I guess I
no
could
skill appropriate to crawling through sphincters. I wasn't thinking when I made the character about sphincter penetration.
That's fair. 39. That is a hard success.
I'm trying to consider the last time I was so filled with regret.
It's your fault.
You put the sphincter here.
I know.
I think Katya's got it right. I think the keeper needs a sanity check.
Failed. This is my bout of madness.
Did you make that roll?
In all caps
Hannah made her roll.
Awesome.
And begins also painstakingly making her way through what now you perceive as a cement wall in a flickeringly lit hallway. And this is, I hope I'm not understating this, this is a minutes process of an individual going through.
So again, as she's coming through,
laborious.
do I see any indication as to the texture of what she was going through, or does it really look like she's just appearing through a brick wall?
So if I may speak for you, as you see Hannah beginning to emerge, and it is as though the wall were not there. As though the technology has not been invented yet, as though a hologram were being projected through. As though she were simply passing through a motionless curtain that was the wall. Now, unburdened by someone who is unable to provide any assistance, you are able to assist as she comes through. You are able to grab a shoulder, a hand, an elbow, and begin to pull her through. And you brace yourself with a hand or a leg against the wall itself, and it is solid as can be to you. And yet, you are producing a human being through it.
As soon as I get her through, I'm going to stand her up and look at her and say, I'm not sure if this is real. And then I touch the wall to make sure
Closing it forever, and now
feels,
Travis can't get out.
It
feels as solid.
Slightly rough and rather cold.
You mean the wall's not real, or what we just went through isn't real?
The wall feels real, but I'm not sure if what we went through is. Then I look down at the girl on the floor. I'm wondering if we're drugged. This just doesn't seem right.
I will worry about that later. Do I have any... How do I explain this? Do I feel with previous knowledge of the strange and occult and Cthulhu-y things, am I feeling like I kind of understand what has just happened? Like we have emerged from a alter dimensional sphincter. No.
Understand is an awfully strong word. If you would like to roll your mythos, you may.
Yes, I will. Let's see what happens.
I have no real mythos skill, but I have pretty good occult skill. Is it worth taking a try at that?
If you would like to begin to equate the two, you may. However, this... I would consider it difficult, perhaps.
Okay.
The path to the mythos requires a forfeit of sanity, usually.
Which you have successfully avoided thus far. And
I'll give it a shot with an occult roll to
James,
see if I can... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
So, generally speaking, if you want to start gaining mythos, all you got to do really is lose sanity. And I keep giving you opportunities, and you pass them by. But yeah, you can make your occult roll.
Okay, I'll see what comes up. It's a pass, but not a very good one.
Okay.
It's 76 out of what is my occult? 85.
Gotcha. And I failed to express this when I was saying that it would be difficult, and I hope I used the word hard. I would be requiring a hard success for anything meaningful.
Yeah, I didn't achieve one.
What I would say, and for anyone joining us for Cthulhu, if you succeed, but you're not successful enough in this system, it's the same as failing. What I will say is you have no rational nor occult explanation for what's going on. Your idea that maybe you are on a trip, or maybe you are dreaming, checks out. Seems reasonable for the moment. Odd to perceive that you were on a trip or dreaming, but you've had lucid dreams before. I mean, the chick did take her top off, so everything is on track. That said,
Tanya is trying to buy us inspiration, just so you know, Rob, and I will let you handle the reply on that.
So she is, and I love you, darling. But first of all, wrong system. We're in bonus dice territory here, and I intentionally turned them off, and everyone's already got their elder sign in the corner of their screen here. So unfortunately, there is nothing to do. I will have to make that up to you in some other way, since you are spending your channel points for us, and I promise to do so. Just remind me next session.
Just remind me, and I'll remind him.
Yeah, that's great. Remind Mike, who is paying better attention to the chat at this point. So Travis, when you are assisting to the best of your ability to push Hannah through, and you do so to arm's length, right? Like you push until there's nothing to push, and you feel her go beyond your fingertips,
right,
to God knows where,
right.
And about the time you are finishing that, even at your height, this seems to be rising quicker and quicker, the higher it gets, as though something has encouraged more of this to be produced in ways that you can't explain and probably don't wish to understand.
I have the mythos roll if it's appropriate based on the sentence you just said, but continue otherwise.
You're welcome to roll if you wish to try and make some
I mean,
sense of things.
So Travis has spent the last 10 years thinking that there's more to know than he's been able to figure out, and he's frustrated that he can't figure it out. But he's Fox Mulder. He's sure the truth is out there. He just doesn't know. So I'm going to take a shot at it.
Go for it. Remember, you have a bonus
Absolutely.
die.
We'll use it and still fail. My best was a 72 against a 20.
You don't know what the fuck is going on. It's got to be something weird. You've experienced weird. You've researched weird. There is weird out there in the world. And you are certainly in it. In fact, you are eyeball deep in it right now. But what particular flavor of weird, you cannot say. You don't have the answer.
This is just confirming his frustration that he'll never understand this, but he knows it's out there. A side note, Travis's archetype, which is a thing, it's sort of a class in Pulp Cthulhu, is steadfast, which means I didn't intentionally wear the Captain America shirt, but he's basically got the Captain America mentality. And so he is, the one thing he is thrilled about in this situation is he is the last one here. Like, he feels like he must have done everything right, that he is the last person left in this nightmare. And now I've got to convince you to let me use pilot aircraft to get out of here. Because I think that's my best chance. No, I'm joking. His best chance is to muscle his way out of here and get by on his endurance. His intention being to leverage. I have a damage bonus. I'm going to make the sphincter bloody. Like you do.
Attaboy. So, you spent your bonus die.
Yeah, I did.
I have this thing up here.
Yeah, I realized that.
I'm going to take that thing away.
I'm a big fan of drama.
So, here's the situation. You have the torch. I'm assuming. No way that went through with Hannah.
No.
It is now so high up. You're kind of losing air in the space here with an open flame. It's beginning to weaken, and it's not going to matter in about 20 seconds whether or not there is air in here anyway. You're going in blind.
Right.
You are going to have to go by a tactile sense that the others did not have to do. And whatever your attempt, you will have at least one penalty die going into it. So what are you hoping to roll?
I mean, I don't know of anything. I'm open to suggestions, but unless somehow being intelligent or being really good at driving cars and planes will get you through a sphincter.
Not in my experience. Maybe I've been driving cars wrong this whole time.
I am excellent at demolitions. And I do have a torch. Does the sphincter react to the fire?
That is a question I was wondering if it would be asked by the first person.
Right.
If you present the flame to the wall, is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah. I'm
wonderful. The room shifts.
Oh, super. It's way easier.
Entire place seems to violently react to this presentation. This is going to seem like an odd request.
It's not. I'm going to tell you it's not.
This is going to be moderately simpler for you because you did this. That is a good idea that you had. However, there's a lot of motion in this place where there wasn't before. And there are submerged articles, some of which you're aware of, like tables and bits of chairs and whatnot, that are moving around in the space. I need you to dodge.
Oh, all right. You know I'm crippled.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. And you can't really see what you're dodging, so I'm going to consider it hard.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all right. I have a 1 in 10 chance to make this. No, but you know what? Is it important, would you say, that I dodge this?
Would I say? I think it would be inconvenient, but not damning.
All right. Well, I'll save the 13 luck then, and I did not dodge.
Okay. Really, it's difficult to say what. But as this place moves, the wall you're an arm's length away from the wall, right, with the torch.
Right. I'm just poking it at the sphincter.
It shifts to the point that it hits you. Like, either you are presented to it violently, or it is presented to you violently. And it pushes you back, away from where you try and remember the sphincter is, as something beneath the surface strikes you.
I'm in the trash compactor.
Luckily, it gets you in the good leg, but you will take 2 points of damage.
Okay, I can take 2 points of damage.
I suspected you could.
Ugh.
Now, the odd part about that is whatever it was sharp, not solid. And you cast your mind back, and you don't remember anything particularly sharp in this room. If room it be.
Is there any chance of me seeing what was sharp through the...
It is opaque, and I've stated it before, and I'm going to remain consistent with it now.
I have a torch. I just thought it may have changed the shadows within or something.
That said, because you have a torch and because you didn't fail that miserably, believe you still remember where that sphincter was. That way. Ish.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I can make an education roll or something if you need me to, or a knowledge roll, whatever it would be. But yeah, I try to make my way back to the sphincter, obviously, because this stuff's going to be over my head soon.
So you are going to attempt to push your way through with I think strength can be appropriate. I think dexterity can be appropriate.
Yeah, strength and con are all that I've got going for me. Size is certainly working against me. And I don't think I have any skills that I could reasonably convince you were good for this.
Let's do strength then. And remember, you have a penalty die. You did make it easier for yourself with the fire, however. We'll take the penalty.
I also have some damage bonus to throw around if that's useful. Like, I'm trying to hurt the sphincter.
We'll take the penalty die away.
Okay.
With all of those various considerations. You've given yourself your best opportunity.
Strength check of 39 against a 65 is not hard, but it's dang close if it needs to be.
So taking a large gulp of air and surrendering the torch, you submerge yourself. And swim is an odd word. You don't have to push yourself through something that is so, to your tactile senses, so tough and thick.
I was thinking he was climbing it like a ladder, coming out or something.
You were walking through it. You just seem to be walking in relatively slow motion to your senses. The distressing part about it is, unbidden, it seems to be forcing its way into your nostrils, into your ears, pressing against your eyeballs. Almost as though it wants to invade you. Trying to rid yourself of this wholly unpleasant experience as quickly as you can, you find the somewhat loosened and pained sphincter ahead and begin to worm your way through. I'd like you to go ahead and make a constitution roll. You've been through a little bit, and this is going to take a while, and you're a big guy, and you only have one lungful of air to go on here.
I made it. I made a regular success, a 75 against an 80.
All right. Somewhere in that federal agent training, you had to do some physical conditioning and be put through some exceptional circumstances, and this is you are a measure. You are man enough for this particular task. It is the three of you, one of you unconscious, in this hallway. Hannah, you have emerged, Brian has emerged, and you are staring at a cement wall. And you have been for what feels like an eternity. Behind you, on the occasional light from the flickering electrics, you see that there are doors to your right and left, as do you, Brad. Are you sitting here waiting? Hoping
I'm waiting
for the
for,
inevitable Travis Cole?
I'm waiting for Travis to pop out, and if I see anything pop out, I want to grab it and try to pull him the rest of the way through.
I did pass my mythos check earlier, by the way.
Thank you for the reminder.
But yes, I'm also waiting.
Mythos does not get check marks for those who are following along in the stream.
Mm-hmm.
You have some understanding, Hannah, sitting here knowing what you know, with nothing better to do as you wait for your former companion. You were Pinocchio a moment ago. You were in the belly of Monstro. You were in some organ of something being digested or waiting to be digested, and you did not arrive there by accident. You don't remember going there, but manacles, handcuffs, tables, chairs are not things that would normally be in that circumstance.
Mm.
You didn't stumble upon that place. You didn't fall into that place. You were not alone in that place. You and 3 others were placed there. So, someone or something has the power to take you to somewhere that you shouldn't be, somewhere that ought, by all that is good and holy, literally, to be inaccessible, and yet there you were.
Mm-hmm.
Intentionally placed and specifically and incontrovertibly to be murdered by the uncaring entrails of some unknowable thing.
Right. This is standing out to me as weird that they obviously gave us some kind of chance, though, by leaving a candle burning on the table. Interesting. I'm going to log that information for a discussion later. Can I do one thing while we are waiting for Travis to emerge?
You can do 2 things.
Great.
But
I
not
want
3.
to I want to try inspecting the girl who is still unconscious, I assume. You said earlier it is at least relatively obvious we have been drugged, and she is clearly still under. Possibly because she is smaller and younger than the rest of us, but not sure. Can I take a look at her, look for any, signs to maybe figure out what she was drugged with? Any like needle marks or anything other like weirdly wrong with her body? Using a medicine check of some kind.
Sure. This is going to take some time for you if you wish to be thorough about it. But you can make that medicine check if you wish. Now,
Yeah.
as you roll, I will say, and Brad, you are present for this, kind of keeping an eye on the wall to try and assist Travis, who you hope will emerge shortly. You realize, Hannah, that beneath this coat, the young woman is unclothed.
See, it was a valid question when I asked if I had clothes on.
It is.
I know Rob.
Yeah.
And
his
whoever
sphincters and his nudity.
placed her here had some concern for her chastity, perhaps? An odd consideration, but one that was made.
Okay. Well, I will also keep an eye out for any weird, physical marks on her, since she is unclothed.
That's
And I
fair.
feel less weird about looking at her since I'm trying to help.
Go ahead.
And also, I'm not one of the other two.
That is true.
Pervs.
Wait. I rolled a 28. I don't remember. No, that's a fail.
28's a fail.
Yeah, we
You
20
have
medicine.
a lot going on right now. You are trying not to focus on the fact that you were inside of something a moment ago. In some genuinely otherworldly scenario. And you're trying to put that out of your mind to try and investigate a woman who you just realized is compromised in terms of her attire. And you are unable to focus long enough to make any real determination in this instance. As you are puzzling over that and trying to focus, Brad, the top of Travis's head becomes visible through the solid wall.
I was hoping it'd be a shoulder or something, but
Sadly, it's head
Plenty of hair.
first.
I have plenty of hair.
I
man.
will grab his hair and
Just grab him by the ears.
Oh.
start pulling him out. Start pulling him out.
All right. As soon as his nose is clear, Travis takes a big gulp of air, and you assist in pulling him out. Like yourself and like Hannah and the nameless young woman with you, he is completely Cthulhu juice free as you enter the hallway. Now, Travis, as you are being...
In the stores, they call it Cthulhu Juice Zero.
As you are being extricated, you, like the others, see before you a hallway. A swinging, flickering electrical light, doors on your right and left. And you are the only one facing in the direction that you are facing.
Okay.
So you are the only one that sees the shape at the end of the hall.
Super. It is always my character that sees the shape at the end of the hall.
You are a tall individual. 6'6", you take up most of an 8-foot tall hallway. This thing takes up the entirety of the hallway, hunched like Quasimodo. It is far away. You are really only seeing its silhouette, placed as it is between the two light sources in the hallway as far back as you can see it. Your first impression is that it might be something simian, like a gorilla, just based on the dimensions, the girth of the arms, the size of the thing, the posture. But that's not correct. You don't see any silhouette of hair or fur or anything that would lead you to believe that.
Chat is killing me. Go ahead.
Oddly, you think it's more like an ant or termite. You see a clear segmentation of its body, as though abdomen, thorax, head. What's the thing between the abdomen and thorax? There's usually isn't one. This one certainly has one.
Super.
The appendages are all incorrect as well. You're used to things having 2, 4, 6, even numbers, really, and generally arranged symmetrically from side to side. And this fails to fit that particular criteria. Really, the only thing that you can say for sure about it is that it's approaching.
Super.
As you are relatively half extricated from the wall.
So, anyone who watched the last Cthulhu stream will know why my priority is to say, Hannah, don't worry about the lights. And then I say, I don't think the trouble is ended. And I point towards the thing. We have incoming. And I'm still half in the wall, right?
You are still half in the wall. Now, what I will say, amidst all the bad news I've just given you, there is some good. Firstly, though it didn't appear that way, it seems to be maybe 60 feet down this hallway. But while...
Can I make a mythos roll to see if I know what it might be?
You may. While the motion of it suggests it is moving at speed, it is not closing what you perceive as 60 feet of distance as quickly as you might think.
Huh. Moving in slow-mo. Or through some viscous sludge or something.
Hard to say.
Okay.
What you do know is that there are 3 doors to the right and to the left, across from one another, between it and you. How'd that mythos roll go?
It was a fail. It was a glorious, spectacular fail.
Let's have, since you are pointing, by the way, just to give you the opportunity not to make a sanity check for Hannah and Brad. Do you turn around?
Oh, yeah.
I turn around.
Oh, yeah.
Let's sanity checks for
Characters
everyone.
do, by the way. So my function in Rob's game is to present the other characters with sanity loss-inducing items.
It really is.
Hey, look at this!
What is that?
I made mine with a 31.
A 31. Brilliant.
These are sanity rolls?
Yes, please. Insanity rolls, there is no pushing, there is no luck.
And there is no success.
Usually when Katie doesn't answer me, she doesn't have to.
She's...
My
I rolled a
sanity is
91.
a 55.
A 55.
I have unfortunately rolled a 57.
So
Yeah,
close.
You can't fix that. That's no better than my 91. in the
Maxwell
sanity
Smart
roll.
says, missed it by that much. So, good news, Brad. By turning around, even with a success, you lose a point of sanity.
That will happen sometimes, as you will make your roll and still lose a little sanity because it's
Which
so
makes
freaking
sense.
bizarre.
This
Now-
is not what you see every day.
It is not. And things will happen because of this.
After sliding through a sphincter, you'd think think I would be like ready for something like a insectoid, but hey.
I would like Travis and Hannah to both roll a d4 for themselves.
Why do you make us roll our own punishment? That is not cool. One.
You might as well have succeeded, man.
One Cthulhu D4 here.
Oh, I thought
rolled
you
a
also
3.
Okay, at 3. At least you 3. I got something out of this. So, normally if you go a little insane and there's no one sane around you, you go insane for a while. But this isn't really going insane. This is just a moment of indiscretion. Really, for all of you. All of your instincts in this moment, genuinely, across the board for all of you, is to flee. Whatever this is, whoever is with you right now, wherever this place is, your primary goal is to get as far away from that's coming as possible. And there's no going back. There's only the doors to your right and left.
3 doors on the right and 3 doors on the left. Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
I'll make a quick point of order to the players. It's important to keep up with how much total sanity you've lost until such time as you get until Rob says that we're safe.
Right.
That's how you keep up with that 1/5 number, and there's no real good way to track it on your character sheet. So it's easy on your first game, but over time it gets tougher. So just
keep track of your starting amount when
that's right. Until he says you're rested, and then
when things are normal,
start
keep
all
track
over
of that
again.
number,
That's
and
right.
then when they go abnormal, got
That's
it.
right.
Yeah.
Because that'll determine when you get your indefinite insanity, which is super fun.
So, what is
Pick a
everyone's
door.
dexterity?
I say pick a door. Pick a door.
My dexterity is 80.
80. So
Let me go ahead and let Katie say hers next.
I think hers is at the top.
Go ahead, Katie.
My dexterity is 90.
Yeah. I'm a 40.
Anna, you go insane faster than anybody else and get to do something. You are going to the nearest door and trying a handle, but I'll let you pick right or left.
Left.
Wrong.
You fool! If only you had picked right. You run to the left door and desperately try the handle, hoping that it turns and opens. It does. You fling the door open, and not caring what is on the other side of it, at least it's not what's in the hallway. For an instant, what you see, before you commit to this door, is a rippling surface. As though you're looking through a pane of water. You see a statue illuminated by some unknown source. The stony edifice of a heroic-looking, though admittedly posh, man in a powdered wig. And you
Statue
turn...
of a man in a powdered wig.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
And you throw yourself into the room and swing the door shut behind you as you go to try and put any kind of physical barrier between you and that hallway. Brad, that just happened. You need to run.
All right.
But I'll give you the choice between right or left.
Well, I'm going to snatch. I made my sanity roll, so I am going to attempt to snatch up the girl and throw her over my shoulder, and then I'm gonna run for the door that Hannah went through.
So I commend your desire to do that. The thing with losing
However.
sanity is that, for an instant, I get to pick what you do, not you. But you have made the call of wanting to remember the girl, which frankly I wasn't going to allow. But since you called it, I will let you make a sanity roll again. With no penalty if you fail to your sanity. But if you fail, you do not grab the girl.
Got it. And that is going to be a failure on my 89 sanity.
So this is some character building for Brad, as next session and for all sessions after, you will remember having left her in a moment of genuine life or death panic as you flee towards the nearest door, leaving the girl.
Grabbing some different dice next time.
But you said that you wanted to follow where Hannah went.
I'm gonna follow Hannah.
All right. Almost the same situation occurs. You manage to reach it just as she almost closes the door. You get your hand in there, stop the door from shutting, and throw yourself through, and also see and head towards this rippling pane. Just beyond it, some illuminated figure of a gentleman poshly dressed in a powdered wig. And then we come to Travis Cole.
Sphincter free or not?
You extricate yourself a few steps behind the others, but you are also inclined to leave as quickly as possible, to get out of this hallway by any means.
I'm always inclined when I don't have my cane.
Yeah. I like that joke. That's good, actually. It's quite good.
Took me a second.
Same. Are you choosing to hide yourself in a different space or follow the group?
I am going to let the dice decide.
All right.
Odd is left. I don't even remember which one they were, but odd is left. Odd. I'm going left.
All right. You find yourself presented with the same situation and thrust yourself towards it.
Okay.
This happens to each of you in turn. Though first it happens to Hannah. And all of you, well, Hannah, you're cold. Oddly, now that you think back of it, that liquid back in the room, whatever it was warm. The surfaces in the hallway were somewhat chill. Now you are presented with the nighttime air of Arkham, Massachusetts. And though it is summer, it is reasonably brisk at this hour. It is nighttime. You have just erupted through the surface of a rather small amount of water, surprisingly shallow, in fact, not even reaching your knees. You are stood, as you look around, in the basin of a fountain, in the middle of a large, grassy area, complete with sidewalks, shrubbery, topiary, trees, and in the twinkling starlight and the half-covered by clouds light of the full moon, buildings of state or note, the structures of academia surround you. You recognize the space. You've been here before. Recently, or at least what you think is recently. This is the quad at Miskatonic University. You are standing in the shallow basin of a fountain whose figurehead is some dead guy. You honestly can't be bothered to remember who it was. But it's being illuminated by the beam of an electric torch, of a flashlight, that's now being aimed at you, and subsequently at your two companions, as yourself, toplessly attired as you are, in the company of two similarly soaked gentlemen as they erupt through the basin of this fountain that they, at least Travis, could not willfully submerge himself in, are bathed in the light from the flashlight as a somewhat neighborly and completely perplexed voice salutes you. Who goes there? And that is where I'm afraid we will have to pick up next week.
Good game, Rob.
Welcome to Miskatonic Misadventure, guys. You made it to the university. With most of yourselves intact. Indeed, yeah. Well, if that wasn't different from the last time we played Cthulhu, nice to kind of flick that switch and go ahead and start with the weird stuff. Definitely stretched our vocabulary in this session a little bit. I used words I probably haven't used in 2023, much less 24. Well, excellent, Brian. I'm sorry that you didn't get to be the hero there. That's sort of the nature
I was
of the game.
trying.
No, you did.
It figured I made some good rolls, but as soon as I had an 89%, sure enough, that's where the dice fail.
I mean, pulp heroes are heroes, and they are going to succeed a lot of the time as long as they play to their strengths. So it's good storytelling when they occasionally fail.
It can be an interesting moment for him going forward.
I think it will certainly inform later sessions in many ways. Thank you guys, my players, for hanging out with me and putting up with all of the this very different kind of body horror. I was horrified. Thank you to everyone who stuck around and watched and supported our intro session. It's always good to come back to you guys, and I feel like I've been away from home, and you guys make me feel so at home when I arrive, and thank you guys for hanging out and spending 3 hours of a weeknight with us, for goodness sakes. Everybody's got work in the morning. Thank you to everyone who contributed to the stream: TL Holdren, Majestic Biscuit, Eric Bra, and big thanks to Leo Yeager for welcoming us back so undeservedly. We are so fortunate to have you guys here and make us want to be better and do better and come back. And makes me want to kill these guys for your cumulative enjoyment.
Hey.
Or drive them insane. I mean, just in the fiction, Katie. Just in the fiction, not really in real life. I'm too lazy.
What, is that the only reason?
Let us look for somebody to raid, and as we do, send everybody who is watching this stream forward to enjoy someone else, show off our community to someone. Comics on the Cross is live. If everybody likes listening to actual Irish accents in D&D, then they're going to have a good time where we're going. Tell them hello from us. Please refrain from the word sphincter. They are a family channel. Cross is really cool. Announcements-wise, before we're gone, we're going to be back doing this again, same time next week, 7 Central. All of us will be here. Then conventions and other things might get in the way for a bit, but we are committed to coming back and doing this and enjoying you guys and one another and Cthulhu for as long as you guys will have us and we don't run out of ideas. Mostly me running out of the ideas. We will be live. I don't think we have anything going tomorrow, so we'll be back Wednesday with more of other Rob, Evil Rob's Spelljammer campaign, and then on into the week for miniature painting and video games and D&D and other goodness. And you're back on Thursdays.
My 5e game on Thursday at 8 o'clock Central, Winds of Weird Blood Knights.
Yeah, if you can't get enough of Brian, how many sphincters does your game have?
Not so many sphincters, but there was quite a bit of drug use in the last one, so there's
there you go. So there's a reason to come back right there. Darn it.
Oh, and we got to see Katya dance.
Oh! Well, what's not to love there? So that's when we can find Brian again. Katie, what are you up to this week? Where can people find you on the internet? All that good jazz?
There was a lot of murder hoboing in that session. You're dead right there.
People can mostly find me on my Twitch channel, which is Ominous Watermelon. Not a name that you're going to forget, probably. We stream on Fridays. We usually do some sort of variety horror game, but we've also been streaming a little bit more often on other days. So we have a Discord that's full of fruit.
Two out of the four of us, and one of them is not Katie, were bragging before this stream on what a good and entertaining streamer Katie is. So if you like
she's great
gaming streamers, or if you like hilarious streamers, or if you like just watching people who are genuinely entertaining and who read everything that comes through the chat, or if you like jump scaring people with sound effects that they make available to you while they stream, then Katie's stream is for you. I need to get a Twitch command set up so that we can advertise you, but it is Ominous Watermelon here on Twitch. And Mike, all last campaign, you were just telling us to tune back in next week to see you doing stuff, but is there anything that you're up to? I always want to give you the opportunity.
Well, I appreciate that. The best place to find me probably is here or potentially lurking around Katie or Brian's streams. There's a YouTube channel out there if you're into Pathfinder and really deep nerdy stuff. But otherwise, just come find me here. I love this game and love playing it. So I'll see you guys here.
Are you okay with me making your hard-earned Cthulhu stuff available to anyone else who is interested in the game?
Please, absolutely. It would tickle me to death.
Cool. Anybody who wants to, I'll drop the link in the chat here in a moment to our Discord.
I've actually already modified that document once, so let me give you one more copy of it because I've thought of something while we were playing and edited it. Because I'm like that.
So for the latest copy of the Sanity reference sheet, so you can help hold me accountable to the rules we should all be playing by, jump into the Discord server for Misty Mountain Gaming and Misty Mountain Streaming. I'm the D&DWannabe in there. My face is on Discord. And ask me for it. I will make it available to you, and we might post it somewhere a little bit more public later. Let's get the raid ready to go. Thank you guys for your patience. Thank you, Brian, for hanging out with us for an extra 10 minutes. I failed you in getting you out of here in a timely fashion, but was having too much fun. We will send you guys.
Good for us, actually, Brian.
Yeah.
No. They like I was telling. I'll get into it afterwards.
Thank you, everyone who watched us once again. I keep thanking, but it's because you guys are so awesome and you deserve it. In case you don't hear it anywhere else this week, and we end every stream this way, and I sincerely hope that you do hear it somewhere else this week, because it is true and you deserve it. We love you guys. And we can't wait to be back with you here same time next week. See you next Monday!